Well, welcome to the 700 Club. Look, it took 18 telescopes to confirm that Albert Einstein was right about what are called black holes. We'll tell you more about that. A bomb cyclone has hit the Midwest, paralyzing many states, paralyzing road traffic and air traffic in the Midwest. It looks like the Ecuadorians have lifted the immunity for Julian Assange in the Ecuadorian embassy in London. And, we've got, on top of that, the dark state is finally being exposed. And U.S. intelligence agencies have spied on the Trump campaign in the 2018 election, or 16 election. That's what Attorney General William Barr has told the congressman today. And he's launching an investigation to find out why. White House correspondent Ben Kennedy has more on this bombshell revelation.
Calling this a big deal, the Attorney General plans to get to the bottom of what originally sparked the Mueller investigation back in July 2016.
I think spying on a political campaign is a big deal.
As a result, he's putting together a team to uncover the origin of the Mueller probe.
So you're not suggesting, though, that spying occurred?
I don't, I guess you could, I think spying did occur. Yes, I think spying did occur.
Remember when Trump said back in the day, and everybody laughed at the time, my wires are tapped at Trump Tower is what he said. You know, who's tapping my wires? Obama's tapping my wires. Well, guess what? He was right. He was right. That's exactly what Barr, in essence, was saying today.
Attorney General William Barr said the question is whether the spying was adequately predicated. He wants to review if the threshold for initiating a counter-intel probe should be adjusted.
I am not saying that improper surveillance occurred. I'm saying that I am concerned about it and looking into it.
Getting started on going back to the origins of exactly where this all started, because this was an illegal witch hunt.
The 22-month investigation revealed the Trump campaign did not collude with Russia. Despite that, Democrats demand to see the full report, unredacted. Barr said he can't do that, but did promise senators more access to the investigation when it comes to grand jury material.
Have you discussed any specific redactions with the White House?
No.
Now, Barr stopped short in releasing new details about the Mueller investigation, saying that he will not discuss the report until it is released, which should happen next week. Barr said he'll answer more questions from lawmakers next month after the full Mueller report is out. Ben Kennedy, CBN News, the White House.
Well, it looks as if there will be an investigation on all of the material that went on the so-called Fusion GPS, the Christopher Steele report, all these things that the FBI used to get FISA warrants against Trump campaign officials. And the fact that they were investigating and that they had evidence that there was Russian collusion. They were supposed to have notified the Trump campaign. They did no such thing. This is a shocking trail of horrible conduct by members of the FBI at the highest levels. Many of them have been fired. Many of them are under suspicion. But I believe it's time that they be brought to justice. This so-called dark state should never, never be allowed to operate in our society. Well, in other news, WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange is now in police custody in London. Ephraim Graham has more on that.
Pat, police arrested Assange at the Ecuadorian embassy today. He'd been taking refuge there for the last 7 years until his asylum was revoked due to repeated violations to international conventions and daily life. The UK took him into custody on an extradition warrant from the United States. Apparently in retaliation to a sealed criminal case, Assange has been criticized for publishing thousands of classified military and diplomatic cables through WikiLeaks, including material leaked by former U.S. Army Private Chelsea Manning and emails stolen from the Democratic National Committee during the 2016 presidential election. A massive spring blizzard is slamming the Midwest right now. From the Rockies to the Great Lakes, millions of people in 18 states are feeling the impact. Jenna Browder has more on this historic storm.
This spring storm has triggered blizzard warnings in at least 6 states, and others are experiencing high winds and flooding.
This is kind of a pain in the butt storm.
From the Rockies to the Central Plains and Great Lakes, millions of Americans are in its path. The second potential bomb cyclone in less than a month.
It is a spectacular storm where it's snowing, and there's another one coming behind it. And this will go from the Texas Panhandle to Chicago and the Great Lakes in a few days. It won't have as heavy amount of snow, but considering it's going to be snowing April 14th or 15th, I guess it is, further southeast like that. I mean, it's just amazing.
In Colorado, freezing temperatures and heavy snow prompted the governor to call in the National Guard. Troops rescuing 75 people and 2 dogs overnight from stranded vehicles southeast of Denver. In South Dakota, more than 18 inches have already fallen, and some areas could get another foot. Near whiteout conditions in Minnesota are shutting down highways. And in other parts of the country, they're seeing severe flooding and wind. This dust NATO spotted near Pueblo, Colorado. And a blowing dust warning was issued near Lubbock, Texas, where winds reached up to 70 miles per hour. In the Northwest, a flooding state of emergency in Idaho. Near Eugene, Oregon, the water deep enough for a boat to glide across this highway.
Already upwards of 18 inches, so 1.5 feet of snow as we talk about portions of South Dakota, especially toward the Black Hills. Again, areas along and north of I-90. Here's what we finish off with into tonight, and notice some very staggering amounts of 1 foot to even 2 feet of snow before it's all said and done. Twin Cities looking at around 6 to 10 inches of snow before it's all said and done.
And the storm is causing headaches at airports, too. At Denver International Airport, nearly half of flights were canceled Wednesday. Jenna Browder, CBN News.
Snow in the middle of spring. Pat?
It's incredible. I remember in New York there was an April snow, and it was all slushy, and it lasted for a day or two, but it was nothing like this. It wasn't blizzard conditions where people couldn't drive and airplanes couldn't fly. But this is probably one of the worst we've ever had. And we wonder what's going on in the weather. You know, certainly they talk about global warming, and here this is snow, it's freezing, and the temperatures are falling. And I don't have an answer, but I'm sure people are scratching their head to say, what in the world is happening to this planet we're on? It's crazy. But these snows, when they begin to melt, if you have many feet, I'm still concerned about what's in the Sierra Nevada mountains. There are many, many, many feet of snow. And when that begins to melt, the flooding will be unconscionable. But the damage in our middle section of the United States has been profound. And again, I feel so sorry for those farmers. We need our prayers and to make sure the government stands by to help them during this crisis. Well, I think it was Albert Einstein's wife who said, well, he can sit out in a restaurant and he'll just draw out on a napkin the layout of the whole universe. And you think, what kind of a mind does any human being have that he can visualize stuff that nobody else can see? The whole law of relativity was all just came out of his mind. He also envisioned what we call black holes. He said somehow in the universe there are areas that are so intense and so powerful that light cannot escape them, and nothing can escape them. They have such a huge hole that they're called black holes. You can't get any light out of them. Nothing escapes them. They're so huge. And they've now, I think it took about 18 telescopes to locate this particular one that's millions of light years away from us. But they took pictures and made, without question, it reinforced what Einstein had said. Ephraim.
Indeed, Pat. Scientists are releasing the first recorded images of a black hole in space. Take a look and you'll see a black hole which sits about 55 million light years from Earth. A network of radio telescopes spread across the globe produce this picture. Now, it is nearly the size of our solar system. Scientists say the boundary between light and dark around the hole is the point of no return, where the gravitational pull is so strong, nothing can escape. Pat?
Well, I don't want to go into one of them. That's all I can say. But isn't that incredible?
It is incredible.
Well, think of the mind. You know, just think there are people who live among us who have such incredible minds, and God shows them things. I mean, you listen to some of these geniuses, and Einstein was extraordinary. He was, like a postal worker or something. I mean, you know, he was kind of an obscure person. And
it'll be interesting to see what kind of discoveries will be made now that this has happened.
Oh, yeah. Well, it took many, many radio telescopes to locate this particular thing and then take pictures of it. Well, it's the world we live in, folks. It's very complex, and it is enormous. And if you read the Bible indicates that the God we serve, his name is he who causes everything to be. That's the name of the Lord, he who causes everything to be. And the Bible indicates he created it all. And you think of something as vast as this, that we serve a God who created it all. And you sit in awe and wonder of a creator that can accomplish this kind of thing.